patient talk.
Recorded interview. So if you guys just want to start out by introducing yourselves, please.
Yeah, my name is Dr. David Bull. I'm a medical doctor and a television presenter.
Hi, I'm Sally Falk. I'm the co-founder of Ecoair.
Perfect. So what are some of the health risks associated with mold and damp?
Well, let me start by talking as a doctor, and I think this is an area I've been interested in for a very long time. And in fact, it's a new study by Ecoair has shown that there are some invisible dangers lurking in your home that many people just really aren't aware of. And I think we all know this feeling of living in a property affected by condensation, by damp or by mould. Something like 79% of us have lived in a property like that. And yet, having said that, people don't realise anything to do with humidity. They don't check humidity levels. Something like 84% have never checked humidity levels. 71% have no idea to check. And even if they have mould growing in their house, would they check? 50% would check. And so the whole point is that people don't really equate the idea that having high humidity in your home is a problem. And the reason for that is because if you have a hot environment which is very moist, then bugs can grow very quickly. So we're talking about viruses and bacteria and fungi. They can replicate very, very fast and survive for a long time. So say, for example, you have someone round to your house who has a nasty chest infection and your house is too hot and too humid. Those bugs multiply very fast, stick around, and so then when they leave, the next person arrives, they are at high risk of contracting that particular illness. And it's the way we live today. So there are certain practical things you can do in your own home to reduce that risk and make your home a friendlier place.
So what causes this mold and damp in the housing units?
Well, during the winter especially, we stay at home a lot more. We get snow and we get rain outside more. And what happens is we walk into our homes and we bring the moisture in. We close our doors. We crank up the heating. And what happens is we are creating the perfect environment where germs and airborne bacteria starts to thrive.
Also, if you just think about, the fact is it's sort of cold and wet outside and you probably get wet jeans, come in, stick them on the radiator. And of course, what happens is the wet jeans become hot wet jeans and all the moisture goes into the air. Tumble dryers, again, pushing more moisture into the air. You have a hot shower and there's more moisture in the air or a hot bath. So all of these things contribute. So essentially you've got, as Sally was saying, a closed box. There's absolutely no ventilation and you are pumping tons of moisture into your home. So humidity continues to rise. And if it goes over 60%, you're in trouble.
So why are children at risk then?
Well, children are one of the high-risk groups. So we always say for any illness, there are certain groups that will be at higher risk. Children, the elderly, people over 65, people with chronic illnesses, and people who are immunocompromised are always going to be more likely to get infections. So really, they're at higher risk because for children, as you bring up that case, their immune systems haven't developed properly. They probably haven't seen some of these bugs before. So really, if you are in a house that has tons of kids, then you really need to do some things. You need to make sure you ventilate your house. Yeah, sure, have the heating on. But when you've turned it off and when you're going out, open a window. Let the house breathe. Make sure the extractor fans in the bathrooms are working properly. If they're old, change them. Make sure they run for at least 10 minutes after you've had a bath or a shower. Make sure the one in the kitchen works as well. And then also, I would say invest in a dehumidifier, but only after you've bought a hygrometer. You really need to know what the humidity is in your house. And these range from anything from £5 to £12, so they're not expensive. But also the other thing about this is, if you use a dehumidifier and you pull down the moisture content, then actually the amount of heating you have to use to raise the temperature in your home is reduced. So in fact, in the long run, you can save money.
Now, with which health conditions, for example, like asthma, present particular concerns?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head, really, because asthma is one of the biggest problems. So if you imagine that you've got this nice, warm, moist environment, then you've got all the allergens, like mites, for example, and various other allergens that just multiply and, of course, will trigger respiratory attacks of asthma. So asthma, particularly at high risk. Anyone who's got a breathing problem. So if you are not breathing deeply into the bottom of your lungs, you're at high risk of a chest infection anyway. So essentially what we're saying is if your house isn't really conforming in or giving you a very good environment, you are just putting yourself at higher risk. So if you're a child, if you're over 65, if you have a chronic illness, if you're immunocompromised, you really should be thinking about how can I make my house healthier? And there are lots of ways you can do that are really simple. And it's just things like opening the windows, making sure the extractor fans work, find out what the humidity is and get that dehumidifier.
And finally, where can people go for some more information?
Well, Ecoair.org is our website, and we have quite a lot of information that help people to understand humidity and how to control them. We have a humidity ruler on our website that can help you to determine what is a safe level of relative humidity. It's a very simple ruler. It will tell you to make sure that you have your home at 40 to 60%. That's the best relative humidity for human comfort. And also a very important marker is the 70% relative humidity, where mould will start to thrive in your home, and that's really, really dangerous.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys. That was great.
Super, thank you.
Thank you
Cheers.
very
Have a good one, guys.
much.
Thank you.